Hello, welcome to Yoga with Alicia, this channel which has video content with the aim of bringing you good quality yoga instruction and guidance. And indeed, possibly don't see me as a teacher or a guide, see me as someone experiencing the fantastic goodness of yoga. So we are going today look at a position which incorporates both a forward flexion of the spine and a twist. We'll start by getting ourselves into a cross-legged position. If you've been watching the previous videos, you'll be getting more and more used to having a seat like this. And of course, every day a little bit of practice is going to help develop your suppleness, your flexibility and your strength. So once you are seated comfortably and with the legs crossed, you can choose whether your toes point out sideways or you might like to draw them forward so that your shins are cradled in the instep of your feet. Give yourself a moment or two to find your happy seat. You might like to close the eyes and draw up with the next breath that enters your nostrils. Inhalations always bring about this sense of elevation and of creating space. A very good thing to do, because as you lift up, whether it be your flesh externally or your internal organs, you're going to allow for a greater influx of oxygen to reach some of those parts of you that may have been cramped or crushed or have obstacles for a number of years. And just by elevating, you can bring in some immediate new health. Just to start, we're going to do a very gentle twist of the spine, just to warm us up before we go into the forward flexion. So let's bring our right hand outside of our left knee and take your left hand behind your buttocks, in fact trying to position it centrally at the base of the spine. And you can use that left arm to straighten up and become a prop for your upright spine. You've got your head and shoulders directly over your hips. And think about relaxing and opening in the hip joints. Soften through the legs. The inner thigh muscles, allow them to gently soften outward. Along the whole way of moving through the positions, you can keep checking back in and just seeing if any parts of the body are holding on to tension. Relax your shoulders. Allow them to drop down and away from the ears. And you're just going to rotate the spine to the left. You'll twist it from bottom through the middle and then the top, and it's your head and neck, or rather your neck and then head, that move last of all. Now you don't need to overstretch or over twist or over force yourself. Just as you come back to the center, you remain feeling lifted, avoid slumping. And then we'll go to the other side. So we'll bring our left hand outside of our right thigh and we'll take our right hand behind our buttocks, centre of lower spine, right near the coccygeal region, which is the very base of your spine. And then rotate to the right. And as you're rotating your spinal cord, take the flesh with you. Bring that flesh of the left hand side round to the right, almost as if the skin around your left ribs are smoothing themselves. All those cells of the skin, they're smoothing their way round to the right. Neck and then head comes last. Chin parallel with the floor, shoulders relaxed. Keep that breath, that lovely natural rhythmic breath, going as you are in the position and as you come out of it, returning to a central neutral seat. There we go. A little warm up of the spine there, and now we are going to bring a forward flexion in and add the spinal twist. So let's bring our right hand and forearm and elbow in front of us, and we want it to be on a nice straight plane. So get your fingers and your elbow aligned. Just gently rest your left hand on your left inner thigh. And then when you next breathe in, think about lifting the hip joints up and away from the femur bones, your thigh bones. Think about pulling up internally, pubis to navel. Lift the stomach. And as you exhale, as we should know by now that when we exhale, we surrender. Allow yourself to soften and hinge forward. Now the aim of this forward flexion is to get our forearm from elbow to fingertips down onto the floor, but that will come in time. In the first instance, if you're comfortable resting it on your lower legs, then do so. Just remembering that the whole journey through the position is one of patience and giving it time, because those are the two ingredients that will most certainly bring about success. So you've got your left hand just resting on your left inner thigh now. You've got your right arm, the forearm, resting either into the crook of the legs, or if you can go further, you've got it down onto the floor. Now, you might just have the hand down on the floor, trying to get the elbow down. It's better to get to the point where the elbow feels comfortable and take the hand to level itself with that. Also ensure that your two sit bones, your buttocks, your cheeks of the bum, are both on the floor, on the mat, and that as you lean forward, they're not peeling away. If they are peeling away, you need to just come up, back a bit, get them planted, and then work on all this lower area down here. We've gone through this in previous videos, so you possibly becoming more aware now. Okay, we've got the forward flexion. Let's bring the twist. Nice deep breath into the nose, and then exhale, rotating to the left. So we're going to revolve the spine. We're going to turn the neck and the head so that we can look up towards the ceiling. Constantly remaining attuned to our natural rhythmic flow of breath, to the expansion that is taking place within our chest and our stomach as we breathe in, and to the contraction, especially of the belly button, pulling in, back and down to the very lowest part of the spine as we breathe out. Now, if you're comfortable here and you want to raise that left arm, then do so. You can stretch from left hip to left armpit to the elbow, to the wrist, to the fingertips. If that's too far, you can bring the left hand to rest on the left shoulder and just raise the left elbow up to the ceiling and take the eye line in the same direction. Remembering how your stomach is the framework, the support framework for your spine. Engage it, unrotate, and then restack the bones of the spine to come back to your neutral position. You might like to close the eyes here and tune in to how you feel externally, internally. And now's the time also to just uncross the legs and then recross in the opposite direction. just so that we can keep both sides of the body, our physiology, our limbs working equally, stretching and strengthening with balance. So once you've recrossed your legs, take stock and adjust and adapt yourself into your seat. Another breath to draw upward. And remembering our position yesterday, which was a lateral flexion of the spine, which brings into play the sides of our body. Think about those now, and as you breathe in, lift the skin there from hips to armpits. Every time you breathe in, the space you are creating is going to help journey through the fullness of the position. Let's bring our left forearm in front of us, left elbow and left fingertips aligned. Right hand resting gently, right inner thigh. Breathe in, pull up internally, lift the stomach, lift the flesh on the front of the body from pubis all the way through this central line up to the chest, even to the crown of the head. Feel yourself lifting and hinging. The origin of this forward flexion is deep down in the hips. Avoid just bending at the upper back and slumping the shoulders forward and crushing down in the abdominals. You want to have this beautiful reach coming forward as you descend. Again, you might prefer to begin with that the left arm rest in the crook of the legs, in the shins, and that is totally fabulous because your body wants you to treat it with love and respect and care. So take your time. And you can begin the rotation already because you can be thinking about the flesh on your lower back. And you can be sending the skin over to the left. All that skin on the right hand side of your back, move it to the left and you'll quite naturally feel this organic rotation begin. And all of the flesh on the left side of the body is now rounding toward front of body. And everything on the right hand side of you and your skin on your upper chest is beginning to make its lift up toward the ceiling. You might like to take the right arm, stretching from the right hip to the right armpit, all the way up to the fingertips, reaching up to imaginary touch the ceiling. If you feel more comfortable with the right hand, the right fingers on the right shoulder, then allow that to happen and play with that right elbow. Unclench your teeth. Tune in to the stomach. Engage the abdominal muscles as you unwind and then restack the bones of the spine. And there we go, forward flexion with rotation of the spine. Bring your hands together at your heart. A thanks to your gentle practice, which is leading toward us having a longer practice to be inclusive of our 5 a day, 5 positions. So we'll see you again very soon. Namaste.